What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Happy Thursday to you. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day out there so far. And as always, I got Miss Ward with me. How are you today, ma'am?
Phenomenal. Absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome. We're talking about expansion this week. We're going to get into some talk about expanding ourselves, expanding yourself personally, professionally, expanding your profitability in your market, whatever your market is, whether it be appliance repair or HVAC or electrical, whatever you're doing. You need to be expanding yourself as a professional, as a human being, as a follower of God, and all those things. Got a couple people checking in this morning. Good morning, Adam. Nice to see you. Dr. Dan. Good to see you always, sir. Got Garrison Howard checking in. Good morning, brother. Thank you for stopping by. We're going to pray up. I got a scripture from the Proverbs to go over. We're going to get into this. We got a lot of our friends and Alliance community heading back from Las Vegas, from Asti, praying for them that they all make it back safe and on fire, ready to rock and roll in their businesses. Special shout out to JT Farrell and the crew over there at Absolute Best Appliance for winning the most professional servicer. I can't remember what category. I think 3 to 4, 2 to 4, 3 to 4 tech, something like that. But shout out to him and his team. I've had the pleasure of getting to know JT a little bit over the past few years, and I can tell you this about him. He's an awesome guy. Anytime I've ever had a question or needed help or got on something, he's an excellent tech and an even more excellent human being. But he's always been there for the Alliance community. Really awesome guy, really good crew. And he was actually a part of my very first mastermind that I oversaw, like when we started doing them as a Service Alliance group. And that crew, man, him and Justin and Mark and Andrew, 4 absolute rock stars. Every one of them could win most professional servicers because they are the epitome of professionalism. Those guys are all freaking rock stars. So shout out to him and his crew over there at Absolute Best. Miss Ward, do you mind praying us up?
Sure, let's get it.
Let's do it.
Lord, thank you for allowing us to rise again today. Lord, thank you for ordering our steps in our minds as you always do. Lord, open our hearts to be receptive to things that can expand our skill sets, our opportunities, and please guide us once again every step of the day.
I think either I'm frozen or Miss Ward is frozen.
I'm back.
Oh, okay. Amen.
Amen.
I couldn't tell if I was frozen or if you were frozen.
Yeah.
Did I freeze?
Nope.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Technical difficulties. All right, well, let's get into this scripture. You can hear me okay?
Yep.
Awesome. All right, as always, we're going to hit the Proverbs. And I got a verse. I was actually listening to a Myron Golden YouTube video this morning, and he hit on this verse, and he was talking about escaping the traps of poverty and how so many people get trapped in poverty, and the poverty programming he was talking about, how there's this program to keep us poor. And I truly believe that with all of my heart. I believe that there's a program out there that wants to keep you down, no matter who you are, that wants to see you not succeed, not be successful, not be able to take care of your family. And I believe go and listen to it. It was called Escaping the Poverty Programming. I'll post it on my Facebook page. But he read from Proverbs chapter 6, and I'm going to read the whole entirety of the scripture because it's a good one. It starts in verse 4. It says, don't put it off. Do it now. Don't rest until you do. Save yourself like a gazelle escaping from a hunter, like a bird fleeing from a net. Take a lesson from the ants, you lazy bones. Learn from their ways and become wise. Though they have no prince or governor or ruler to make them work, they labor hard all summer, gathering food for the winter. But you, lazy bones, how long will you sleep? When will you wake up? A little extra sleep, a little more slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. Then poverty will pounce on you like a bandit. Scarcity will attack you like an armed robber. And man, I was thinking about the topic this week of expansion. And I was thinking about this verse this morning when Myron was talking about it. And you see in the first, the deer escaping from the hunter or the gazelle escaping from the net. Both of those animals are fighting for their life. They're fighting to save their life from something that's trying to take their life. And that's the way we need to be about everything in our lives, I believe. Be passionate about it. Wake up every morning and be ready to go out there and kill it. Go out there and dominate. That's why I love Miss Ward. She gets me pumped up because no matter what's going on in her life, we know there's things going on, but she's, let's get it. Let's get it. I love it. And you know, I was thinking about the illustration he does with the ant. I'm going to read that again because I love this illustration. He says, take a lesson from the ants, you lazy bones. Learn from their ways and become wise. Though they have no prince or governor or ruler to make them work, they labor hard all summer, gathering food for the winter. Self-governing is what he's talking about there. Being a person that doesn't need a boss over him, doesn't need someone, because we're talking about entrepreneurs here. Because if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to expand yourself and not have someone luring over you, making you do it. Because a lot of you guys and gals out there still have the employee mindset. I'm going to do whatever I have to do and do the bare minimum to get the job done. Well, when you're an entrepreneur, that is the most absolute destructive mindset you can have. You have to be self-governing. The problem with a lot of people in this country, and really it's a huge problem in the United States of America, is that we're spoiled. We have so many different things to take. You go over to a third world country and try acting like that. You go over to one of these countries where the government ain't going to take care of you if you don't work. Because in this country, if you don't take care of yourself, the government's going to swing in and take care of you, help you get fed, help you make sure you have a house, all those things, which I'm not saying you might be for or against that. I'm not getting into that. But is that really what you want from yourself? Is that really what you want from your life, to be stuck in that poverty cycle where you're depending on someone else? But he says, consider the ant. Look to the ant who goes out there and works hard every single day and prepares for the hard times and does whatever has to be done. He doesn't have to be told to do it. He doesn't have to, be reminded or scolded or any of that stuff. He just goes out there and does it because he knows what's best for him. So I just want to encourage you guys today as we get into this topic of expansion. Expand yourself. Expand yourself professionally. Expand yourself in your personal life. Do things every day. Wake up every day with the plan to do better for you, your family, and the people around you. That's all I got on that one, Miss Ward. What you got?
Well, at the end of the day, It's so many life lessons that we find ourselves stumbling into over and over. After a while, how many times do you have to go through something to learn a lesson? I think that we have a lot of repetitive mistakes and repetitive issues because we don't understand we are the issue.
Mm,
Taking that self inventory and adjusting what you need to adjust, regardless to how uncomfortable it is. I think the key is as Americans, we're very comfortable. We are definitely spoiled. We are entitled. We want to, point the
mm,
finger at everybody else. And I just think accountability and responsibility for self is so important in a business and outside of a business. We've all worked those jobs where when you show up to work, you look to your right and you say, okay, I'm not going to have to carry more than my load and if I do, I got a running partner here. We're going to be getting it together. We competing to be the best. And then you
mm,
got the slack over here. And you trying to understand are you filling a quota? You feel me? So at the end of the same way, you got to, when you get in business, it's the same. I just had a discussion with someone about how you can't talk to everybody. You got to talk to people who inspire you, who inspire you, and just people who getting it, people who showing you what it looked like. Like there are people in my circle now be like, Miss Ward, I didn't feel like doing it today, but then I thought about you. You out there getting it. I'd be damned if I'm gonna be laying in the bed looking crazy. I'm like, Miss Ward can do it, I can do it. It's the same concept. It's just a mindset. But unfortunately, a lot of people are being lulled to sleep on a daily basis because there's always a reason you can't be successful. You can't be successful because you don't believe in yourself. You're not willing to take the steps.
mm.
All this free information online, like right now, just this conversation between the fact that you over there got a business, you got a whole family, you got situations left and right, just like I do, but we don't have excuses. We understand, we get on our knees, give it to God, and go get it. It's that simple.
Amen. And you're absolutely right. It's one of those things. It's a choice every day you make. And who you surround yourself with and the company that you keep makes such a big difference. If you're hanging out with a bunch of procrastinators that aren't doing nothing, and the sad fact of the matter is, most of the people that tune into this every morning are probably the people that are getting up and going out there and getting it. I'm not saying every single one of them, but let me ask you this, Miss Ward, for yourself. What is it that drives you? Because anyone that watches your stuff sees you're a very driven person. You're very motivated. What is it that drives you so much to get up there every day and have that? Because I know there's mornings you wake up and you're like, man, I ain't with this. But what keeps you going? What's that drive for you that just pushes you every day to wake up and say, I'm gonna go get it today?
Well, I'm going to be very honest because I'm human and I believe in transparency. To be honest, like I'm laughing because I was talking to somebody about this, about making a video on my channel for all the haters that tune in anyway, right? So you got to let your haters be your motivators in some aspects. But at the end of the day, what really inspires me is that I come from a space and a time being in a non-traditional field, having odds stick against me. I was always counted out. So there's something in me that's like, okay, judge a book by its cover, think what you're going to think, but think all the way to the bank. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to pass you and you don't even know I'm passing you because I'm so low key with it. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
what really inspires me, it's kind of hard for me to answer that question because to me it's almost like autopilot. Like I don't know how not to go get it. And the
Yeah.
problem with being that way is it rubs people the wrong way because then they think you arrogant, entitled, you think you know it. And that's not that. It's just that I've had to get in that mirror and believe in me what nobody else did. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
when you pick yourself up regard over and over, that's all you know. It's just like riding a bike for me. Like, yeah, I have down days. There's days, then I say, what the hell am I doing? Let me go get a job. I mean, people think I don't have the same stuff, and I do. It's just that I have to balance and take responsibility for where I am. If I'm having challenges, I'm like, okay, I got this far. I can figure this out. Now, am I going to figure it out the hard way? and not ask for help? Who in my
Mm-hmm.
round table? Who in my circle? Who do I have access to? What can I research? What can I try to test something here for 2 or 3 days and I watch what happens? Like there's several ways to be successful, but I don't think people give themselves credit with the ingenuity we are born with. You
Yeah.
follow me? I don't consider, and when you say drive, I laugh about it because I don't consider it drive. I consider it normal.
Yeah.
You understand? I've always been this way. Like, I got on people's nerves. Like, my mama used to be like, and me and my mom, I used to give my mom the evil eye because I remember when I started the business, she said, well, if it gets too hard, this is your first. I'm sitting here in my mind, that sound like, why are you giving me excuses to fail? You know what I mean? Like,
Uh,
I have a whole attitude with my mama. But she
yeah.
knows I'm that child. You know how you got your kids and you be like, this one I ain't gonna have to worry about. Because no matter what
Uh-huh.
happens, they got it. Even though
Oh
I'm
yeah.
scared for them, they got it. That kind of situation.
And you're so right too, because there's two different types of people in the world. And I think me and you are very different in that way. You are very self-motivated and it comes naturally to you. For me, it's something that I really have to strive for. And I know there's a lot of people out there like you, and there's probably equally as many like me. Um, and I can speak for the people that struggle with motivation on a daily basis. They struggle with waking up, feeling pumped up and ready to go. And not to say that you never do, but most of the times I talk to you, you're rip raring ready to go. But for someone like me, I've struggled with it my whole life. And the old me, I'd like to blame it on different things like my ADD and different cop outs and excuses. But what I've found for me is that when I want to better myself and expand myself, I have to wake up every day and get my mind around the fact that today is the day that I need to get this thing done and be strategic. I have to have a plan of action to get because if not, I'll procrastinate. I will put things off. So one thing that I've started to do, and this is just a little tip for those that might not be as motivated as someone like Miss Ward, wake up every day or before you go to bed, whichever one's better for you, and put a plan together for your next day. And one of the things that I like to think about as far as expanding myself and doing better each day is what can I do tomorrow that's going to better myself as a human being. It's going to better my business as far as being more organized, being more profitable, being more whatever. And what can I do to help someone else each day? Because I believe part of personal expansion, personal growth is all, and I know you're with me on this, is finding ways to help others. And I want to switch gears for a second because that was a good nugget we just hit on. But one thing I've always admired about you and a lot of the people in the Alliance community is how you're so passionate about expanding your skill set. When I saw you come into this trade, you came in boots on the ground running. You were doing the damn thing, and it was really impressive. And you jumped into some of the circles that were not very popular. Sealed systems, for instance, you jumped headfirst into that. And I know you've been very passionate and upfront about how important it is to expand your skill set as a technician. Do you want to touch on that a little bit and give the people
Yeah.
some nuggets on expanding their skill sets?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that when you really get into business, the way you lose money is when you don't know what you're doing. Let's just keep it a buck. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're on a job, you lose money, you lose time, you have recalls. All that comes down to the frustrations you have in business. But most frustrations, the root of those frustrations are always some type of ignorance, something you don't know, something you haven't been experienced. And that's why those 10,000 hours of mastery are so important for people, is because the more you do something, the more you're exposed. Like, prime example, I was working on something and it was an older model, slide in range. I think it was a Frigidaire. And us, the new techs, we're spoiled because the safety thermostats that we see 99% of the time on the back of the unit. Well, of course, this one was underneath the cooktop, right? So it was a little different, and I hadn't seen it before, but because I was able to read schematics, I was good. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Most guys go off pattern recognition. Okay, we go in, we don't have any power. They're not testing a voltmeter. They're coming in with the control board, maybe the terminal block, what they think it is, And at the end of the day, that is costly on so many levels. It's costly to your ego and your temperament as a tech. It's costly to your business as far as funds and cash flow. And this is why expanding your skill set is so important. Those areas that you're afraid of stepping in, you need to step in them. You need to find a way to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many ways. There are guys that are willing to help, but at the end of the day, you're responsible for your success. And if you don't know how to run a business, you don't understand P&Ls, you don't understand taxes. All those things can be learned so that when you do hand things off, you know what you're doing. But most people get in and are just overwhelmed. They try to do everything at once. Me, I focus on the profit because I know I'm inspired by the profit I make. Not just the sales, but how much profit I have. So if I need to learn a skill set to cut out a piece that I can handle and have more profit, I'm going to do that because I'm doing less reps and making more money. It's really not hard. I just think that most people come out of a W-2 mindset and they had everything done and handed to them. They didn't understand HR. They just knew how to hustle HR and thought they did. They didn't understand 401ks. They didn't understand how the business hiring and none of that stuff worked. They were always saying, I hear people all the time, my job won't give me a raise. Give your damn self a raise. You know what I mean? I don't understand that mindset for me. It's never been, that's just not how I'm built. Of course I had jobs, but I always started at the bottom and I worked my way to the top. I knew what the rules were. I knew the guideline, and my whole thing was to shatter the books, shatter the goals to where you can't deny me access. I've just been built that way. And that's the same way I was with this industry because, haters everywhere. It is what it is. And they're supporters. They're supporters. Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to all the solid steppers out there tuning in this morning too, because we appreciate y'all always being here with us. I want to touch on this before we wrap up because all of us have different things that we are good at. Some of us excel on the technical side of things. Some of us are just great technicians. Some of us are more business savvy. But what I want to challenge you guys with this morning is, and we say this every week, and we're going to keep saying it because it's important, is sit down and take a look at yourself. Look in the mirror and say, where am I lacking? Where am I not 100%? Where am I not mastering this skill set? It might be your business, your business side, your entrepreneurship. You might be lacking on the business side. Well, if that's the case, you need to start making some moves to expand yourself in that area. You need to start immersing yourself around other successful business owners, people that are doing it right. And that's one thing I love about YouTube and the Alliance community and just the social media aspect in general is that we can learn from someone that we've never met before. I mentioned earlier, I've been on this Myron Golden kick, and I've learned so much from that man. Never met him once in my life, but he drops all these little nuggets. And I could wake up every morning and I could just kind of, just mosey around and get my day going. But I want to start my day with something positive, whether it's a business podcast or business video online or whatever. So ask yourself, are you doing things today, planning this week, next week, the rest of this quarter to expand yourself? There's a lot of people that took the time out from their work this week to travel to Las Vegas to be better business owners and better technicians. They're investing in themselves. And I'm not saying you have to go to ASTI to become better. It'll definitely help you if you do. Or PSA or one of the Alliance conferences that we've started doing. But do something. Do something to make yourself a better business owner, a better technician. There was a time in my life, and after this, we'll wrap up because I know you got to go and I got to run my son to school. But there was a time in my life where my number one goal in life was to be the absolute best technician I could be. And I was obsessing over it. I mean, I was just, everything I did had to do with learning more about fixing appliances. And that was good. It was a very good foundation for me to build off of. But then I realized something about 3 to 4 years in. Being a great technician is important, but being a great business owner is even more important. I don't want to be running service calls 10 years from now. Very few, if any. But I do want to be running businesses 10 years from now. And notice I said businesses, not a business. And my goal for the next 10 years, actually 8 years, is to expand myself as a business owner and as an entrepreneur so that when I'm 50, 52 years old, I'm 42 now, 50, 52 years old, I can start to sit back and enjoy my life. So that's my personal goal. And I know that I'm not going to do that by being the greatest technician ever. It don't matter how good I am at sealed systems. It's important that I know these things, but the business side of things is what a lot of guys don't realize. You guys and gals, you think that because you're a good technician and you have the tech side of things that you're going to be a good business owner. Well, I can tell you someone personal experience. The business side is the hardest part. Fixing appliances can be tricky and it does take skill set. And I'm not saying, and I'm in no way, shape, or form saying don't become a great technician. You should. You should always be learning more. There's always new stuff coming out. You should be attending the trainings. You should be doing all those things. But at the end of the day, being a good technician is only going to get you so far. If you want to grow a business and be successful, you have to expand yourself as a business owner. You have to go out there and become better. The way you do that is by learning. The way you do that is by watching other people and learning from them and networking and growing and building. We got Jenny Seeley. Believe she's at ASTI this week. She said, yes, goal crushing. Go, girl. Jenny's awesome. She put together that pamphlet for people going to ASTI. Jenny's always doing awesome stuff like that. So shout out to the Seeleys. They were most professional servicer last year, so they're back at ASTI. Dr. Dan checking in. He said, anyone in any trade needs to know business. There are sharks out there, including government, that will eat you alive. That's very true. Yeah. He's hit on something there. You get into this running a business and you don't know how to properly do the books and all those things. Trust me, from someone who's gone through some bookkeeping nightmares, and finally have my stuff semi straight. The government don't play with their money. They're going to get their money. So you better realize, I see these guys out there ripping and running and asking questions about, you see them out there, they're running service, they're doing this thing. And then all of a sudden they're asking about insurance. You mean to tell me you've been running a business and going into these people's houses, working on their stuff, and you don't even have insurance? Let me end with this, and then I'm going to hand it over to Miss Ward to close us out. If that is you, stop what you're doing right now and get some damn insurance. You are asking for a nightmare. I couldn't imagine going into a customer's house and working on their appliances without insurance. That's business 101. You flood that person's house or mess up their stuff and you don't have insurance, oh boy, you're going to be in trouble. But anyway, you want to close us out, Miss Ward?
Yeah, I want everybody to understand you cannot make decisions sleep deprived and rest deprived. The one thing in our business is it's so easy to get caught up in the ripping and running. It's so easy to get caught up in the I'll get to it later, and then you got a pile of stuff and you're overwhelmed. Please get some rest. Please get some rest so you have a clear mind, so you can actually see not just the day and the hour in front of you, but you can see months down the line and you can make the steps. Because I know personally, I don't even like to talk to people if I ain't had rest, because I already know that Miss Ward not going to show up. Caprice is going to show up, which is my middle name. That's a whole nother person. So at the end of the day, get the rest you need so you can perform personally, professionally, and otherwise. That's all I got.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Miss Ward, for joining us. Thank you, all of the Alliance community, solid steppers out there. If you haven't subscribed to Miss Ward, make sure to go over there and subscribe to her channel, Solid Steps to Wealth. If you haven't signed up for the servicealliancegroup.com, make sure you do that. Just a heads up, we are launching out in our masterminds next month. So if you are ready to take your business to the next level, we highly recommend signing up for these masterminds. We're doing it a little different this year, and it's going to be epic. So if you haven't signed up, or if you are planning to sign up, stay tuned. We're going to be dropping links here soon for the new mastermind series. And I want to thank everybody for coming out. Everybody in Vegas, hope you have a safe trip home. Hope you had a great time there. And I am actually filling in for EJ tomorrow, I believe. So I will see y'all tomorrow. And I'm not sure who I'm going to have on with me. So it'll be a surprise. So we'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. Have a great day. Peace.